Hey guys, where are you? Hey, it's Debbie. Welcome to my channel. We have been watching, and yes, I'm fighting with my microphone. We have been watching the Matriarch Mastermind murder trial for 9 days. Wiggles is here. Hey, Wiggles. I don't know what my mic is doing. It's trying to fall off. Oh, there we go. I was screwing the wrong part.
As presented only has one meaning, and the jury gets an instruction saying, hey.
Okay, that's just people talking. Hey, Nancy. Yes, we have a verdict. A little over 3 hours. Judy's texting me. Judy and I have been watching, and they stopped. I was watching Peter. He's live. He happened to be live talking about the closing statement or closing arguments. Hey, Teresia. Hey, Nancy. Wiggles. Where's Judy? She's been texting me. Like, I was getting texts one after the other, after the other, after the other, and I'm trying to set up a live stream, and I'm like, I know, Judy, I know. Quit texting me. I can't text you back and set up the live stream at the same time. But they're not in the courtroom yet. They're just showing clips from the trial. But I guess
didn't care about the Adelson
I'll go ahead
win
and
against Dan Markel. He didn't care about relocation. He didn't care about Wendy's divorce. He cared about go-karts and jet skis and pretty girls. But he also cared about getting things done for the number one woman in his life, and that was his mother.
So I was watching Peter's, and I had it on my laptop while I was watching. There's Judy. While I was watching the clock, so I was telling them the clock, and people in Peter's channel was going, "Where do you see the clock, Debbie?" And I said, "On Court TV's website," and then the clock stopped. So I typed in all caps so they'd see it. Clock stopped. And then a few minutes later, they're like, "Oh, people are saying there's a verdict." And then there was just a black screen for the longest time. I was like, well, that's weird. Why is there a black screen? So I thought something was wrong with my laptop. So then I pulled it up on the computer, and still a black screen. And then they came back like regular people talking about the trial again, and the clock started again. So then I typed in all caps, "Clock started again." And then the clock stopped. So then I typed again in all caps, "Clock stopped again." I'm like, I swear I am not messing with y'all. Because, like I thought they're going to think I'm a troll or something, right? Typing "clock stopped, clock started, clock stopped." I'm like, I swear I'm not messing with y'all. And by then they had figured out too what was going on. So they were like, "Okay, we have a verdict. We're hearing that we have a verdict."
Verdict will be in the case. I do not want there to be any gesturing or
This is live.
making any movements that you either agree or disagree with the verdict. We are going to respect what the jury's decision is, and we are not going to subject them to any displays of emotion, whether it be from the gallery or the parties. If anyone believes they are not capable of following this instruction, I'd ask you to step outside at this time. Mrs. Adelson also as well, once the verdict is read, again, I'm going to advise you, do not have any displays of emotion. As best you can, you are in control yourself. Do you understand?
And in Florida, we don't do sentencing and victim impact statements and all of that right after the jury.
All right, we're going to squeeze in a little break here, everyone. Much anticipated verdict in the case against Donna Adelson. We'll be right back, and we'll take you into that courtroom again right after the break.
Tonight on Closing Arguments, did Donna Adelson play a role in the murder of Dan Markel? We're live with every development as deliberation.
Tonight, probably while working. Yeah, he can't see us, Wiggle, so he can't get mad at us when we react. Oh man, yeah. Usually when it comes back this quick, it is guilty. And there's just too much. Like there were some people in Peter's chat though that was saying that they didn't think the prosecution didn't prove their case. But there's just too much circumstantial. Like the one, and it's absurd circumstantial stuff. Like, oh, that's EDB. Probably telling us that there's a verdict. Like saying the defense trying to say that just because her phone pinged off a cell tower close to his house doesn't mean she was sitting outside his house. No, but the text that she sent him that said she was right outside his house means that she was right outside his house. I mean, that was just such a stupid defense to put up for that one thing. That made it, it's like the Streisand syndrome, or is that what that's called? It's like that. I usually zone out on cell phone stuff, right? But that made it stick out in my mind even more because of that. I probably wouldn't have even paid attention to that had it not been for the stupid counter argument that just because her phone pinged off doesn't mean she's right. But no, they had to pinpoint that. Now, the reporter, I forgot her name. Janae something that was there with Court TV. She said that they were still in the courthouse waiting. Like Harvey was still there and the attorneys were still there. They were like walking around the halls of the courthouse. So if they were still there, they didn't have far to go get them. So I don't know why it's taken so long. Usually I start late. We usually don't ever have to sit and wait because usually I get, by the time, I don't know, I was on the ball tonight, I guess. Because usually we're behind. And like, I know the verdict before the verdict actually gets announced on my stream because I've gotten behind somehow, but I'm on the ball tonight. Any day now. Donna's probably shaking in her boots right now. She knows. I bet she knows. What did you tell me, Judy, that she was near tears? Now I have time to read all the texts you sent me. Donna is near tears.
Welcome back to Court TV. Let's get you right back into court for that much-anticipated verdict of Donna Adelson.
Having reviewed the verdict form, it is in its proper order. At this time, I will publish the verdict. We, the jury, find as follows as the count one of the indictment, first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder. Mrs. Adelson, control yourself. Count two, we, the jury, find as follows as the count two of indictment. Conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. Count three, we, the jury, find as follows as the count three of the indictment. Solicitation to commit first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of solicitation to commit first-degree murder. And it is signed and dated by the foreperson. One moment. Members of the jury, the bailiff will escort you to the jury room.
Was that delayed? Was that reaction delayed? Or was without a texting. It's like someone else in the courtroom, Dad.
Mrs. Adelson, while this was not the outcome I'm sure that you desired, there will not be any further outbursts in front of the jury. If you cannot control yourself, I am going to have to determine if you'll be removed from the remainder of this process. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Do you need a moment to collect yourself? Before the jurors are brought back in, we will take a brief 2-minute break. Please give her tissues if she needs them.
To the defense and to your honor.
When the jurors are brought back into the room, does the defense wish to have the jurors polled before they are discharged?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well.
All right, joining me after this verdict, Court TV anchor Ted Rollins. Ted, is this what you expected the outcome to be? What do you think?
You know what, Cody? I think that
Yes,
this is where it was going. I mean,
she will be in jail for life because in Florida, so Donna Baker, she doesn't have to serve like a mandatory percentage of her sentence. It is life. Life means life. She'll still get, I think she still gets like, like the victim impact statements, and then someone can stand up and say something for her or whatever. But it doesn't affect the sentence. I mean, life is life. So that's the sentence for first-degree murder. So I don't know if. I don't think they're asking for the death penalty because they didn't for Charlie, so they probably aren't for her either. Harvey.
This trial, she got up there and told her story, what she believed to be the truth.
Yeah, I actually think it, throwing a Hail Mary in a lot of cases at her age probably would have been worth the risk. She would have had to have come up with a somewhat reasonable explanation for everything. I don't know that she had it in her. Look at her behavior in the pretrial motion hearings. Look at her behavior when she was arrested at the Miami airport, and look at her behavior now. She, I don't believe, would have been able to withstand her against Georgia County. She's going down, and I think that probably was a factor on the defense side when deciding whether or not to throw her up there.
And Ted, you mentioned the infamous day that, quote, a theory doesn't prove a crime, which, on paper that holds weight. But when you have Donna and Harvey heading to a one-way flight to Vietnam after Charlie's conviction and after she searches countries with no extradition on her phone, I mean, you don't want to insult the jury's intelligence that way, right?
Yeah, that's a big part of it. And if you think about it, the defense did a good job of bringing up the fact that there is no evidence pre-murder. The problem was her actions afterwards, and they were well documented and, as we talked about, boiled down, digestible. The cherry on top was the trip to Nam. Her and Javi, one-way ticket to Vietnam, and caught, of course, on that open mic talking about extradition. To your point, Cody, that is insulting. And because that, when you hear it, when we all heard it, I was like,
I think, I don't know if what mattered. I was gonna ask if, well, hang on.
On counts 2 and 3. As to count 1, the penalty is statutory, and essentially there is no modification for it.
Yes, Your Honor.
well, pre-sentence investigation and report is ordered by the court as to counts 2 and 3. As to count 1, is there any reason why we cannot proceed to sentencing on this matter?
Your Honor, we would request an opportunity to ensure that our client is okay before we proceed to sentencing. It's my understanding that Charlie Adelson wasn't sentenced right away. We're asking for the same courtesy.
Very well. The court then will set a separate sentencing date.
May I inquire whether the family members that are present would like to give victim impact now or at the future date?
Go ahead.
Ted, I want to bring you back in here. We see Donna sitting here shaking and crying and obviously, not pleased with this decision. I want to ask your opinion here, Ted. Do you think that's true emotion, like I didn't do this emotion, or is that, oh man, my plan is spoiled and I'm going to prison for the rest of my life emotion?
Oh man, my plan is spoiled.
I think, hold on, it sounded like we just heard the judge there.
If you please can identify yourself for the record.
Yes, my name is Ruth Mark. Sorry?
I'm worried you're going to trip.
Okay, I already did. Well, my name is Ruth Markell.
You may give your impact statement, ma'am.
Thank you, Judge Everett. To the Honorable Judge Everett, my name is Ruth Markell. I am the mother of the late Dan Markell. I stand before you today to express the profound sadness and grief that Dan's family and I have endured since his tragic murder. We have lost a treasure. My son's Dan's life was cut tragically short at 41 years old. For 11 years, we have been forced to a life filled with unimaginable pain and heartbreak. Dan's father, Phil, and his sister, Shelley, share in this unending sorrow. Dan was a devoted father, brother, and son. Dan's life was marked by his devotion to family, education, and community. He was a loving, caring, and inspiring person. His academic journey included studying politics and philosophy at Harvard University, earning a master's degree later in political theory from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem and Emmanuel College in Cambridge, and later going back to Harvard to get a law degree. Dan was a prolific scholar and did start, co-founded the influential Prof's blog. His energy, drive, and social...
All right, thanks to Philip Dubé for joining us tonight. I'm Cody Thomas. It's been a pleasure being with you. Big verdict night in the middle of these victim impact statements. Coming up next is closing arguments with Ted Rowlitz.
Are you kidding me? We are in the middle of victim impact statements, Court TV. What are you doing? Are you kidding me? We don't need to watch Vinnie Politan's closing statements right now. We need to finish watching the victim impact statements. I'm surprised they're doing them. Yeah, I hope they get to see the boys. I am really surprised they're doing them because usually we don't do that in Florida. Usually we set a sentencing hearing, a date for the sentencing hearing, and then they do impact statements and the sentencing. So I was surprised they were doing them now, and then now Court TV is not going to let us watch them. You know, I was surprised she wasn't crying, but she's probably done this so many times now that there's no more tears left. No, I don't even know the sentencing. I mean, I know that the town is because they can't do anything with that one, but the other ones, and they're probably gonna be consecutive, but I get it because if there's an appeal, well, hey Marty, um, the murder conviction got overturned, then she would still have the other charges. You know, like if one got overturned and then the other ones didn't. I understand why they do it the way they do, even though it seems redundant. I guess they're not going to go back to the courtroom. And now we got the black screen again. Court TV, you have thoroughly disappointed me tonight. Did you miss it, Marty? I can go back and play it again. I want to go back and play it again anyway. Because I want to see that reaction again. Because it was like delayed.
We'll set a separate sentencing date.
May I inquire?
That courtroom again right after the break.
Tonight on Closing Arguments, did Donna Adelson been worth the risk? She would have had to have come up with a
Find as follows: count of indictment, first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder. Mrs. Adelson, control yourself.
Oh, it wasn't that much of a delay. But somebody in the
Count two. We, the jury, find as follows as the count two of the indictment: conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. Count three. We, the jury, find as follows as the count three of the indictment: solicitation to commit first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of solicitation to commit first-degree murder. And it is signed and dated by the foreperson. One moment. Members of the jury, the bailiff will escort you to the jury room. Mrs. Adelson, while this was not the outcome I'm sure that you desired, there will not be any further outbursts in front of the jury. If you cannot control yourself, I am going to have to determine if you will be removed from the remainder of this process. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes.
Do you need a moment to collect yourself? Before the jurors are brought back in, we will take a brief 2-minute break. Please give her tissues if she needs them.
That is a woman that is learning that money cannot buy us.
An impact to the defense and to your honor.
So I guess that's it. That's the end of the stream. Nothing else but a black screen going on here. Okay, well, I guess that's all we're gonna watch, and I don't have a sentencing date. Yep, that's it. Okay, guys, Well, thank you for coming out to watch the verdict with me. So they preempted. That was dirty court TV. They preempted victim impact statements for Vinnie Politan talking about the case that is now done and over with. So, but anyway. Okay, enjoy your new printer, Marty. Have fun. I will see you guys at 8 o'clock in the morning. We will do, I don't think another new trial is starting. I don't know, I really haven't looked. But we will watch Betty Broderick tomorrow. And then adjourn for the weekend. Okay, bye guys. Have a good evening.